All right, guys, here we go. Another e-learning day. I know you're all super excited about that. Before we get started, I just need to go over a few things because there's been so many days off and so many weird things happening that even I'm starting to get a little bit confused. So here's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to go over everything, where we are, where we stand, what we're doing. and then um, and then I will get into the actual lesson and teach you the quotient property. I just want to say that, normally I leave you e-learning assignments that are pretty much on the easy side. We keep it pretty simple in our class. I never really have ever assigned you a video and said, hey, learn this on your own for e-learning. But it is my prerogative to do so. In our e-learning, in the student handbook and the teacher handbook, e-learning is electronic learning. I can teach you. You can learn from your home if you would watch this video. Okay. And I usually hate doing this because the reality of it is that most of you probably wouldn't watch this video, and then what happens? You don't know what you're doing and you end up failing the chapter, etc. So I usually don't like to do stuff like that, but you know what? It is e-learning, and at some point you do have to be responsible for your grade. So you know what? I'm going to do it this time. And we'll see who actually steps up to the plate and does what they're supposed to do and is responsible. Okay? I need you to know that this is a concept, this is a lesson that you have to learn and you have to know how to do in order to do the packet that I'm leaving you for Thursday and Friday with the sub. So if you don't watch this video and learn how to do this quotient property, you're not going to be able to do your assignment for the next 2 days. And then you're going to lose major points and your grade is going to plummet because next week you're having a quiz. So again, if you don't watch this and if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're just hurting yourself. So anyway, let's get into this. Before we do anything, I need to figure out what the heck. Oop, wrong button. Where's the freaking? Oh, there it is. I need to figure out what's going on here. So I'm going to grab this calendar and we are going to whatever, just hang with me for a second. This is not what I wanted. Okay, let's put in an image. Don't you just love technology? Okay, so here's the calendar that I just took a screenshot of. I just want to kind of point out a few things for my own mental health because, like I said, I'm starting to get a little confused. So this is the week that you guys came back to school from Christmas break. But in my mind, technically this week doesn't count. Let me grab a thicker pen than that. Technically this week doesn't count because that was still second quarter, or rather first semester, because that's when we took ETAs, okay? So technically third quarter started on the 14th, okay? So I saw you guys on the 14th and the 15th. On the 14th, we did the product property. So that was 6.1. And then on the 15th, we did 6.2, which was all the area and perimeter stuff, the geometric figures. So I saw you these 2 days. We did notes as normal class days. 16th, I got a fever. I was sick. No, I was not pregnant, nor am I pregnant right now. And then 17th and 18th, I did physically see you. We were physically in class, but I don't count those days either because of NWEA. I had to spend 2 days doing NWEA. So now I'm 3 days behind because of my stupid fever and stupid NWEA. So anyway, let me keep going. The 21st, no school. Martin Luther King. Yeah, it was e-learning, but I gave you 2 IXLs and whatever. It was pretty easy stuff. Yesterday, Tuesday the 22nd, I saw half of you. Mod 9 and 10? Nope. We got dismissed early. So I sort of did 6.3 for some of you guys. We did notes. And now today, no school again, e-learning. So And by the way, I'm not going to see you Thursday and Friday either this week. So basically at this point, it's safe to say that we've been on chapter 6 for 2 weeks, 2 whole weeks here, and I've only done 3 days of notes. And that kind of ticks me off. So this is sort of why I really need you guys to hunker down today, watch this video, and learn 6.4, which is the quotient stuff. 6.4, quotient property. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go over 6.4, quotient property. I'm going to do notes. While you're watching this video, you really should take your own notes because you have a quiz coming up next week. And you get to use your notes on said quiz. And especially when I'm not going to be able to go over any of this stuff with you in class, like you are responsible for learning 6.4 all on your own. So take notes so that you can have them on your quiz. All right. And the nice thing about getting notes from a video is that you can pause or rewind or fast forward whenever you think it's necessary. So if I'm going too fast and you're like, wait, I need to write that down, hit the pause button because I am going to go pretty fast. I want to try to leave this video as short as possible. Okay. So anyway, like I'm saying, take notes, learn this property, and then I'm going to assign you guys 2 IXLs for eLearning. Okay. I know it seems like a lot. Watch a video, take notes, do 2 IXLs. It is a lot. But again, the policy with eLearning is that you have 3 days to do it. So yes, you have till Friday, technically, to do these IXLs. But again, I want you to realize that tomorrow and Friday, Thursday and Friday, when I'm not there, and you get this activity packet, if you don't watch this video first, you're not going to be able to do the activity packet. Okay? So even if you don't get around to getting the IXLs done today, that's fine. I'll give you till Friday for the IXLs. But you really need to make sure you watch this video and take some notes so that you can do your assignments. Okay? So basically what we're doing here is you've got the activity packet Thursday and Friday and then IXLs by Friday. So again, this is confusing and crazy, but I'm going to write it all out and I'm going to get it all figured out for you. Okay? So watching this video. Here we go. Let's get started. All right, quotient property. I want you to write this down first in your notes. Please take notes. It's important. Quotient rule. Let me make that a little bit bigger. Let's go with that. All right. So quotient literally means dividing. So what this rule states is if you are dividing 2 monomials that have the same base, they're both x and x, but if they have different exponents, like a and b, or 1 and 2, or 5 and 8, or whatever they are, you can simplify this by just simply subtracting the exponents, okay? So before, when we were doing the product rule, if you were multiplying, let me do something different, x to the a power times x to the b power, we would add up the exponents. You don't need to write this down because you know this one already. Add up the exponents, right? So it kind of makes sense that when we're dividing, we would subtract the exponents. Get it? Okay, so anyway, so let's talk about this quotient, and I will prove this to you as well. X to the 5th power divided by x cubed. If we were to write this all out, the numerator, x to the 5th power, just means 5 x's. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then in the denominator, x cubed, that means 3 x's. 1, 2, 3. And then what you could do is go through this and cancel any x's together. So here's a pair of x's right here. They're canceled. Here's another pair. They're canceled. Here's another pair. They're canceled. I can't cancel any more after that because I don't have any more pairs in the numerator and denominator. So what I'm left with is 2 x's in the numerator, or otherwise x squared. That's it. If you want to put it over 1, knock your socks off, but not necessary. Okay, so that's why the quotient rule states that basically what I can do is just subtract those. X, 5 minus 3 is 2. That's why these match up. Okay, either way you do this, you're going to get the same answer. Okay, all right, so let's quickly go through this. Number 2, k to the 12th power divided by k squared. Subtract your exponents, k to the 10th. Number 3, m cubed divided by m cubed. When this happens, you can do one of two things. You can realize to yourself, hey, there's nothing left over. 3 in the top are going to cancel with the 3 in the bottom, and you already know it's 1. Or you can actually use the quotient property and go 3 minus 3 is 0. And then in yesterday's notes, I told you anything to the power of 0 is 1. So either way you think about this, you're going to get to 1. All right. Number 4, 2 variables. Just take them one at a time. So for A, we have 6 minus 2, and that's 4. And then for B, 4 minus 3 is 1. So if you want, you could put a 1, but again, not necessary. Number 5, 7 minus 4 would be P cubed. And for Q, 16 minus 12 is 4. Last one, 3 variables. Number 6, X, 20 minus 5 is 15. Y, 9 and 9, this is going to go away. So no Y's. And then Z, 2 minus 1. It's just a Z. All right. So there's the top part. Let's talk about what happens if there's coefficients. Okay. So if we have coefficients, you're going to divide the coefficients, actually divide them, okay? But sometimes you can't divide them and all you can do is reduce, and you have to leave it as a fraction. So either way, divide or reduce, doesn't matter, okay? Then once you've actually divided the coefficients, turn to your variables and use the quotient rule. Basically, subtract them, okay? So let's look at 7. Your coefficients, 3 over, really there's a 1 there, so 3 over 1 does not reduce more than that, so it's just going to stay 3 over 1. And then for your variable, m to the 4th power, m cubed, 4 minus 3 is just 1, so 1m, and leave it in the numerator, okay? So you could leave this as 3m over 1, or just 3m, same thing, okay? Number 8, let's start with the coefficients. 6 and 4, 6 over 4. Again, this is one of the problems where you actually can't divide because 4 will not divide into 6. So you're just going to need to reduce. 6 over 4 reduces to 3 over 2. Okay. All right, and then your exponents with the variables. This is a little bit different because what I want you to notice is that your variable that has the larger exponent is now on the bottom, and the one in the top is smaller. So you're going to subtract always the smaller one from the bigger one and then leave your answer where the bigger exponent is. Because think about it. 2m's, m squared, and then 5 on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get rid of one pair and another pair, and that leaves you with 3m's, but in the bottom, in the denominator. So you could think of it that way, or you could also just kind of look at the exponents and go, okay, 5 minus 2 is 3, but I'm going to leave it in the bottom because that's where my bigger one was. So I'm going to extend this fraction line and put m cubed below. So this is 3 over 2m cubed. Okay, number 9. 2/5 will not reduce, so I'm going to leave it. Notice how I kept my fraction line kind of long and extended because I don't know what's going to happen with these variables or where they're going to end up. So these are actually flip-flopped. X and then Y, and then on the bottom, Y goes first and then X. So just make sure you pay attention and keep them like together. So let's see, X squared and X to the 5th power. 5 minus 2 is 3, and the bigger exponent's in the bottom, so that's where we're going to leave X cubed. For the Y's, 2 minus 1 is 1, and the bigger one's in the top, so I'm going to leave 1 Y in the top. There you go. All right, I'm going to check and see where some of the more difficult problems are. 11, we have a 0 exponent, so if you remember what I said about those yesterday. 5/3 will not reduce. And then you just have X. 5 minus 3 is squared. X squared in the top. And then there's also a Y cubed that we need to leave up there as well. Okay. I think you're pretty much getting the gist. Let's go to 13 just because we got to talk about negatives for a second. So we have our coefficients, negative 36 divided by 4, okay? So that's going to be negative 9. And again, I don't know what's going to happen with my variables, so I'm going to leave this as a fraction for now, and I can fix it later so that it, looks pretty. C squared and C squared, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, they're all going to cancel out. No C's left over. D, fifth power, third power, 5 minus 3 is 2, so D squared. Okay, so I actually didn't need to leave this as a fraction. This final answer is just 9, negative 9, D squared. Okay, this one, negative 15 divided by negative 3, that's going to be positive 5. Again, I'm going to leave my fraction because I don't know what's going to happen yet. X's, we have 6 minus 5, and that's 1 in the top. Y's, 5 minus 3, and that's 2, also in the top. And then just the little leftover Z. So I actually didn't need to leave this as a fraction. Maybe I can erase it. Haha. Love it. Okay, so that's the basic gist of how the quotient property works. On the second page, I'm going to show you some mixed problems where they have more than one operation happening at once, because this is going to happen to you. Follow PEMDAS. I told you this yesterday. PEMDAS will be your friend. This video is starting to get pretty long, so I'm not going to do all of these. Let's see. How about we just do the basics? So let's do like 16 and 17. And then let's do 22 and 23. Let's do the two tougher ones. I wish I could do all of them. I don't want to make this an hour-long video, so let's just not do that. All right, 16. You have I'm sorry, not A. Let me start that over. You have 4AB squared divided by 5AB, and then the whole thing squared, okay? So what you need to do, again, is follow PEMDAS. P stands for parentheses, and I do have something happening inside these parentheses. So I need to start with, in this problem, I need to start with the division, the quotient property, okay? So, I wanted the pen. All right, so inside of the inside the parentheses, 4/5. Does that reduce? No. So leave it the way it is. And then go through your variables and see what's going to cancel or what's going to subtract here. So A over A is gone. Okay, and then for the B's, we have B squared and B to the first power. So 2 minus 1 is just 1B left over in the top. Okay, so right now I have 4B divided by 5, still in the parentheses, squared. Okay, so now I'm going to actually square it. So remember, when you are squaring, we talked about this with the power property. When you're squaring a coefficient that's a fraction, square the top, square the bottom separately. So 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 25. And then B squared is, well, B squared. There's your final answer. Okay, I would reduce 16 over 25, but I can't. No number goes into both of those. So that's it for 16. 17. Two things happening here. First of all, I don't see a power property. No parentheses, no powers. I have multiplication, so product property, and then here's your fraction line, so there's quotient property. So here are the two things we need to figure out. Number one, when you follow PEMDAS, PEMD, so you want to do your multiplication first, then your division. So we're going to multiply, then take care of the quotient stuff, okay? So in the top here, 9 times 4 is 36, and then we're adding our exponents. So x to the 5th power and another x is x to the 6th. For y, 6 and 1 is 7. And then on the bottom, I'm just going to rewrite all of this. So 6x squared y to the 4th Okay, now we're going to go through and do the quotient property. So actually divide your coefficients. 36 divided by 6 is 6. For the x's, we have 6 minus 2, so that's x to the 4th. And then for y, 7 minus 4 is y cubed. There you go. All right, the two more difficult ones, and then I just need to show you one more thing. 22. All right, so we have the power property, the product property, and the quotient property. All three properties that you have learned so far are in this problem. Follow PEMDAS. It says parentheses and exponent first. So that's going to be this right here. Then multiply. So then whatever that is, multiply by this. And then do your quotient at the end. Divide. Okay? So follow your order of operations. For this, remember, powers on top of powers means you're multiplying your exponents. So this is going to be a to the 4th, 2 times 2. And then b to the 6th, 3 times 2. Okay? Times 2b squared. And that whole thing is over a. Okay? So now what we're going to do is multiply in the numerator here. So we have 1 in front of this whole thing, technically. And 1 times 2 is just going to stay 2. Add your exponents. A to the 4th. There's only one a, so it's just going to stay like that. B, we have 6 plus 2, so that's going to become b to the 8th power. And the whole thing's divided by a. So final step is to do the quotient property. 2 is just going to stay at 2. A, 4 minus 1 is a cubed now, and b to the 8th. There's your final answer. So this whole thing, when it gets simplified, turns into that. Okay? 23. A little bit different on number 23 because you do have the quotient property and you do have the product property, but all of that is inside parentheses. So if you follow PEMDAS, you need to start with anything inside the parentheses. So this power property here is going to be the very last thing that we do. So let's look inside the parentheses first. In the top, I have nothing happening. So I'm just going to rewrite it. 2xy cubed. And in the bottom, there's your product. So you're adding your exponents. Y and y is y squared. X, 2 and 3 makes 5. Okay? And I still have this whole thing being squared. Okay? So now we need to do the quotient property. Again, we're still working inside of the parentheses here. So we have 2. Okay, and I have x to the 1st power on top and x to the 5th power on bottom. So 5 minus 1 is 4, but the bigger exponent is in the bottom, in the denominator. So that's where this needs to stay. And then for the y's, 3 minus 2 is 1. It's going to go on the top. Okay. I didn't need to make this so long. Oopsie. All right, so again, this is still being squared. So now my final step is to do the power property. So 2 squared, this is going to be 4. Y squared becomes y squared. That just gets the exponent. And in the bottom, x to the 4th power, we need to square that. Multiply your exponents. So x to the 8th power. There's your final answer for number 23. Okay? All right, guys, this is turning into a long video, but I have to show you what to do with negative exponents. So I'm actually, I don't know. I'm not going to do this top part. It's not super important. It was cute for like in class, but I don't care about it right now. So let's just go right here. I'm just going to give you the basic gist of this. If you encounter a negative exponent, and again, I'm not going to give you time to write this down. If you want to write this down, you need to pause the video. If you encounter a negative exponent in the numerator, top, move it to the bottom, the denominator, and then magically it becomes positive. Okay, so just by simply moving an exponent and variable, it's magically going to become positive. Okay? If you encounter a negative exponent in the denominator, move that one to the top, and again, magically becomes positive. So I call it cross the line, flip the sign. See, I like cute little rhyming things. So anyway, number 1, we have 3/4 and then n to the negative first power n cubed on the bottom. So here I have a variable with a negative exponent. So in order to make this positive, I'm going to cross the line and flip the sign. So this is going to be 3 and then 4n cubed. And this guy that I have circled right here is going to cross the line. He's going to move to the bottom and then magically become positive. So it's not a negative one anymore, it's a positive one. So final answer for this is going to be 3 over 4n to the 4th power, because 3 and 1 makes 4. 4 n's. Put them together. Okay? So there you go. Easy enough. Number 2, I have 2 things that need to move. Here, cross the line, flip the sign, and here, cross the line, flip the sign. Okay? So what I have on the top is the b cubed, and then the b to the negative first power that I'm moving up becomes b to the positive first power. On the bottom, there's a 3 and a squared, and now another a squared, because this negative one is going to cross the line and flip the sign. Okay? So if I simplify everything, this is b to the 4th power, and then on the bottom, 3a to the 4th power. Done. Okay, that's the basic gist of this. What I do want to show you, though, is problems like 5, 6, and 7, which don't start off as a fraction. It's like, what do I do if it's not a fraction? Well, I hope you guys know by now that anything can be turned into a fraction just by putting it over 1. So if I actually go ahead and multiply this, it's going to turn into 3. Let's see, we have x. 4 plus negative 3 is actually 1, so I don't have a negative exponent anymore. Good, problem solved. But I still have this y to the negative 3rd power. So y, negative 3rd power. Okay, so I can make this a fraction just by simply putting it over 1. Okay, and then I can cross the line and flip the sign with this guy. Okay, so final answer, 3x divided by y cubed. Hi, baby. Daughter's up. I'm going to make this quick. All right. Let me do one more like that. Number 6. Come here, babe. Over here, on this side, so I can pick you up. Over here, baby. Oh, all right. Fine. I'll come on this side. Are you going to watch me record a video? I need that. What, babe? Daddy's in the bedroom. You want to go wake him up? In a minute? Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. All right. So number 6. I'm going to actually multiply this, and then I'll take care of my negative exponents. So 4 times 5.
Owie.
Owie. What's wrong?
The heart.
Okay. All right. Anyway, C, we have 8 and negative 5. So think about it. 8 plus, because we're adding exponents, negative 5. It's kind of like 8 minus 5, so that's 3. So C to the 3rd power. Done with the C's. D, we have negative 3 plus negative 1. That's negative 4. Negative 3 plus negative 1 is negative 4. So this is going to be D to the negative 4th power. So once I'm done actually, multiplying this, I still do have a negative exponent that I need to cross the line, flip the sign. So again, I can turn this into a fraction just by putting it over 1, and then this will cross the line, flip the sign. So final answer, 20 c cubed stays on the top, and then this d to the negative 4th power goes below and becomes positive. It is magic. All right, what's on oh no. You know what, let's just do it. The people who really care about learning this and care about their grades are going to watch. So let me just pick 2 real difficult ones, and then we'll call it a day. Let's do 16 and 18. How about that? All right, so 16. Negative exponents are in the power property, so this is going to be a lot of negatives that we have to move. So here we go. We have the power property, and then we have the product property in the middle where we have to multiply. So negative 2 times 2, x to the negative 4th power, negative 2 times 3, y to the negative 6th power. Bring down your multiplication sign. X, 5 times negative 3, And y, 4 times negative 3. There you go. So everybody has a negative exponent right now. Let's do the product property and see what happens. So we have x, this is where you add up your exponents, negative 4 plus negative 5. This is x to the negative 19th power. And then for the y's, negative 6 and negative 12, negative 18th power. Okay, so I actually need to move both of these. I need to move them to the bottom, cross the line, flip the sign. This is not a fraction, but you can make it one just by putting it over 1. So if both of these guys are going to move, this guy and this guy, cross the line, flip the sign, cross the line, flip the sign, this is going to turn into 1 over x to the 19th power, y to the 18th power. So basically I took this whole thing and flipped it upside down. Okay? Oh, are you learning? Okay, one more. All right, 18. 18's a good one. It's a doozy. This is a little bit of everything, okay? So you've got your power property because there's a parentheses with an exponent here. So here's your power property. On the bottom, you have product property, multiplication.
Mommy,
What?
I like that blue.
You like that blue?
Yeah.
And then you also have negative exponents, so that's something. And then there's also the quotient property because the whole thing is a fraction. So there's a little bit of everything in this problem. So let's think about PEMDAS. PEMDAS says to start with your parentheses and your exponent, so that's in the top here in the numerator. But I can also multiply here in the bottom. Might as well kill two birds with one stone, right? So let's do both. Numerator and denominator kind of at the same time. So in the numerator, 2 to the 4th power is 16. And then for the b, 4 times 4 is going to be 16. So b to the 16th power. And in the bottom, let's see, the coefficient here is 1. So basically 1 times 2 is going to be 2. For the a's, we have 1 and negative 2. So 1 plus negative 2 is negative 1. Okay, for the b's, negative 3 plus 3. Hey, guess what happens to the b's? Negative 3 plus 3. What does that mean? 0. So b to the 0 power. But remember, anything to the 0 power, you can just cross off. Okay, so really all I need to do with this to get a final answer is to reduce the coefficients, or actually divide 16 divided by 2. And then this guy right here has to cross the line, flip the sign.
Mommy, I like that blue.
You like that blue? I know you do, baby. So 16 divided by 2 is going to give us 8. With the exponent that's a, we're going to cross the line, flip the sign, so a. And then we have a b to the 16th power. And then actually there's nothing left over in the bottom. This is not a fraction anymore. If you want to put it over 1, you can. But again, that's not necessary.
Mommy,
That's it. You want to color?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, baby. I'm almost done.
Okay.
All right, so I mean, you guys have these notes because I share them with you every time. Honestly, if I were you, I would kind of maybe play around with some of these and, see if you can figure them out. I will be giving you an assignment over this, and maybe I can find time to go over this in class on Monday. We'll see what happens. But you really need to make an honest attempt at getting this done with the sub because it's part of the packets. It's in there. So real quick here, let's kind of go over what you need to do. So on Monday, I didn't see you. It was eLearning. There were 2 IXLs. I think it was like V4 and Y2. Don't quote me on that. You'll actually have to look on Schoology. I'm not sure what they were, but I think it was something like this. So this was from Monday. Okay, so hopefully most of you guys already have these done, but if not, you need to get this done now. Okay, I mean, like, I should have had it yesterday, so get it done. Okay. Yesterday, I gave you an assignment. Stop, baby, you're making this.
Okay.
Assignment number 49. This was all of the power property stuff. I can't collect it today, obviously, because we're not in school, and I'm not going to have the sub collected on Thursday or Friday. So, I mean, technically, you have until next Monday to do this if you did not. I'm collecting it next Monday, so I don't want to hear crap, okay?
Yeah.
Peyton said, yeah. For today, all I want you to do today is watch this video. So if you're listening to this, you have watched this video. And I'm going to assign you 2 IXLs. What are they? I have no idea yet. I'm going to look right now. But they have to do with the power property that we did yesterday and quotient property that I did now in this video. Wait, I can't spell. Quotient. What, honey?
I think all the pop is icky.
The pop's icky? Well, I think some of the people in my 10th mod would agree with you. All right. So watch this video and do 2 IXLs. I will let you know in a second what they are. I will post it on Schoology, okay?
I just want to eat apple.
Of course you do. All right, so that brings us to tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, when I will not be there. Activity packet. This is
Mommy, I
also
did it. Yay.
due Monday when I come back to school, okay? And this right here, I'm sorry I didn't give you a due date on this. Today's video and the 2 IXLs I'm going to assign you, this also, you have 3 days, so also due Monday. So let's think for a second about what's due on Monday. This, and this. So you guys are going to have a busy weekend. But honestly, if you've been keeping up with your work and doing things when I assign them and getting your crap done, then you really won't have anything to do on Monday except for this activity packet. But again, the sub's going to give it to you tomorrow and Friday. And if you're working in class, you'll also get that done too. So again, the only people that are going to have a busy weekend are the people that screw around and don't get their stuff done when they're supposed to. Okay? So that's it. That's all I have to say. I'm going to end this video. It's probably like a half an hour long.